The story begins on a snowy night, where we see a leaf flying through the air and guiding us towards the inside of a family tree. When the night turns into day, we get to meet Stick Man, a human-like creature made of wood, and his wife, the Stick Lady, who approach their children's room and wake them up by saying that Santa Claus has come. The three children jump out of their bed and run into the living room, where they grab their presents and start opening them. One of the children opens his present and sees a hazelnut on wheels. Not knowing how to use it, Stick Man takes the vehicle and rolls it on the floor, showing his son how to play with it. His other son opens his own present and sees a material that is unknown to him. Stick Man takes it out of his hands and shows him that this is something like a pencil, which he can use to draw. Excited, his son takes the pencil back and starts drawing on the wall. Next, his daughter opens her present and finds a sled. Stick Man takes her out of the house and they go for a ride with it, making a U-turn and accidentally launching some snow on a squirrel. Then, the family walks outside and they play with the snow in a happy mood. In a few moments, the Stick family realizes that a human is going to walk past them soon and they stop playing immediately, pretending to be lifeless wooden sticks lying on the snow. As soon as the human walks away, they get up to continue their games. When Stick Man gets up and is ready to throw a snowball, another snowball lands on his face first, and he realizes the squirrel from earlier just had his chance to get back to him. Later on, it's time to tuck his family in and he gives a kiss to each of his children. The next morning, Stick Man wakes up to a beautiful day and he is in a mood for exercise. His wife sees him, but she turns around and continues sleeping. Feeling energized and well, Stick Man decides to go on a run. On his way, he sees a snail taking forever till it reaches a bunch of leaves so it can be fed, and Stick Man decides to help it by cutting a leaf and offering it to the snail, making its life a bit easier. After Stick Man runs a lap, a dog appears from the bushes and it is very happy to see him, because Stick Man is a perfectly straight stick that it can use to play fetch. Stick Man tries to run away from it, but the dog is after him. Stick Man momentarily hides behind a tree and the dog runs past him. Considering that he is safe, Stick Man walks away, but the dog comes back and catches him. The dog takes Stick Man to his human and gives him to the boy. The boy uses the stick to play with the dog for a few moments, before throwing Stick Man away again to play fetch. Landing in the bushes, Stick Man gets up and sees the dog coming at him. He tries to communicate with the dog and tells it that he is not a plain stick, but rather Stick Man. The dog calms down for a little while and Stick Man believes he can walk away. However, the dog grabs him again and takes him back to the boy. The boy is about to fetch Stick Man again, but a park ranger pulls him out of the boy's hands and points to a sign that says the dogs must be kept on a leash. Disappointed, the boy puts the dog on a leash and they walk away while the park ranger is holding Stick Man. Soon, the ranger throws Stick Man on the ground and he thinks he is free to walk back home. However, a bird warns him to be aware of a girl that is walking nearby, and Stick Man pretends to be a plain stick again. Unfortunately, the girl sees him and comments that he is a perfect poo stick she can use to win the race. The girl joins her friends and since everybody is holding a stick, they throw all of them in a water stream to see which stick is going to get ahead. Falling in the water, Stick Man gets worried, but he soon realizes that the water is not bad at all. On the other hand, he is soon taken away by the current and he ends up in a little rivulet. He tries to swim, but the current takes him away from his family tree by the second. Stick Man sees a fisherman that has been able to catch a fish, and he holds onto it in order to be pulled upwards by the human. Indeed, he makes it out of the water right after he frees the fish, but a frog warns him to beware of the swan. In a matter of seconds, the swan takes Stick Man and carries him to his partner, who considers Stick Man to be a perfect twig for her nest. Meanwhile, Stick Lady and the children look everywhere for him, but they are not able to find him. Later, the female swan lays 3 eggs in her nest and the eggs are hatched into children. Once the swan family is in the water and swims away, Stick Man has a window of opportunity and tries to escape, but he is accidentally hit by a paddle and he is knocked out in the river. The river takes him even further away, but, luckily, he wakes up when a seagull lands on him and scratches its beak on Stick Man's nose. Stick Man does his best to swim, but the waves are too strong for him. Back in the town, Stick Lady finds one of Stick Man's leaves in the swan's nest, and the frog shows her that her husband was carried away towards the sea. The next day, Stick Man is washed up on a beach and he realizes that there are countless humans around, both adults and children. Furthermore, he sees a lighthouse and he knows he has to get there. He hides behind a ball and tries to conceal himself while he rolls it across with him, but a boy kicks the ball and he loses his cover. Then, he tries some more tricks, but suddenly, a father of 2 children grabs Stick Man and wraps a piece of cloth around him, using him as a flag for their sandcastle. Even though Stick Man tries to make it out of there, a short montage shows us all the various ways that people use him, ending up being a hand for a snowman. When he breaks free, he thinks he sees the family tree and runs towards it, but he realizes he is mistaken and he is far away from home. Back in the family tree, Stick Lady is still waiting for her husband, but she has no sign of him yet. Being tired, cold and alone, Stick Man walks through the woods, but he soon passes out. Then, he is found by a little girl who comments that he is a perfect stick for the fire, and throws him in the fireplace. After dreaming of his family, Stick Man wakes up and tries to run away, but he hears a noise from the fireplace and a male voice asking for help. He returns and tries to help the man get unstuck, and soon a foot pops out. Stick Man helps him out and, eventually, Santa Claus emerges out of the fireplace. Santa takes a couple of steps and Stick Man pretends to be a plain stick, but Santa Claus recognizes him and calls him by his name. After Santa delivers the presents to the house, he signals Stick Man to go along with him and they make it out of the chimney together. For the next few houses, Stick Man helps Santa Claus deliver presents that are suitable for the children, and even their pets. Finally, Santa tells Stick Man that there is one last chimney they have to visit. In the meantime, Stick Lady and the children are sad because their father is not present with them. But soon they hear a thudding noise and they try to speculate if a bird hit their treehouse or there is a mouse inside. However, when they walk towards the living room, they see Stick Man waiting for them with a bunch of presents. The family embraces him and Stick Man is happy to be back, mentioning that he is sticking with his family forever.